Good morning. It's just after 7. Just getting up and packing up. The good news is the wind died down just after sundown, kind of as I was hoping it would. I have a lot of sand in the tent. A lot of sand in the tent. But I'll shake it out before I get out of here. It's like 87 miles or something to reserve. And then 112 or 20 or something like that to Snow Lake. Probably won't stay at Snow Lake. And I'll figure somewhere else out to stay. I'll get stuff in reserve for camping and go from there. So I'm going to finish getting packed up and I'm going to get out of here. So I'll catch you on the trail. Alright, overall pretty good campsite. The wind was definitely not great, but hey, whatever. Doing the Jersey today, because it's going to be in the 80s. 122 miles to reserve. It's kind of loose back in here, but... Alright, please don't get hit by a car. Oh, alright, cool. Back to the washboard. Let's see, 63 according to the bike. Feels about right. Feels really nice right now. It's supposed to be windy again today, so we'll see how that goes. Good sleep, good campsite. As soon as the sun went down, the wind just died. I mean, it went dead silent, so that was great. Not sure how far I'm gonna get today. I did 208 miles roughly yesterday, and I'm not trying to rush. It was just that was what ended up happening, you know? I set up camp at like 5 p.m. So I'm not hurrying to get through these areas. It's just not that difficult to move. You know, you get on some of these roads and you're doing 45, 50. And then the next big town that I get to after reserve, I want to say, is Truth or Consequences. Oh yeah, here's some sand. And anytime after tomorrow, I would imagine I'll start potentially seeing some of the groups that are going the other direction. Because they're starting today. I don't know if they're starting early today, but depending on how far everybody's going in a day, I could see somebody as early as tomorrow. The wind, unfortunately, may pick up quite a bit. Coming out of Snow Lake was when I just had horrendous winds for probably 10 miles. And thankfully the trail dipped back into the trees where I was able to camp. I'm gonna go nice and slow through here. Every reason to expect that there'll be fairly significant winds coming into Snow Lake. Oh, don't chase me, please. Just pass through. I'm trying to go slow so that I'm not being rude. Alright, you're on the road. I would like you to move. Can you move, please? Thank you. So what, 66? Yeah. A little chilly for a Jersey, but I know it's going to be warm later, so I'd rather just deal with it at this point. Oh, hi, Antelope. You guys blended. You need to get out of the road there, buddy. There we go. Thank you. Pronghorns. Hi, guys. Oof. They blended in really well. I didn't see them until that one crested the horizon. And all of a sudden it clicked in like, oh, there's an animal there. Of course, the day I decide to wear the Jersey is going to be the coldest day that I've experienced on this trip so far. Yeah, they are moving. So in super high winds, I'm not sure if yesterday would have gotten high enough to push them past their point, but in really high winds, you'll see them stopped, and they have to feather the blades and basically stop them. And it's because the tips, if it's in high enough winds, the tips can actually start breaking the sound barrier. That's the limitation on how fast they can go. It's the same thing on a helicopter. A helicopter is limited by how fast the blades can turn, because if it turns faster than the sound barrier, you start getting these little shock waves and it can damage the aircraft. So that's why basically helicopters can't really go much above 300 miles an hour, or their blade tips start going transonic. Stuff like that is why the Osprey works so well, because they can make the vehicle go faster without having the blades move faster. But yeah, so if you ever see like in super high winds or something like that, they have the blades stopped on those suckers, it's because they're trying to make sure they don't break them. If you want to see something really wild, look up a video of a wind turbine failing. It is apocalyptic. They basically, it's like a helicopter crash. They just go to pieces. Now I'm back in the trees. The wind's not nearly as bad. God, this is pretty. 57. I may have to stop and put my coat on here in a minute. Not quite to where I need to put my heated hand grips on, but if I was on the highway, I probably would. Of course, I could also just slow down. He said, slow down. He said, F you, and kicked him in the face with your energy legs. If you don't know what that is, you are not a child of the 80s or 90s. Powerthirst. Camping up here wouldn't have been bad, but I would have been rolling into here at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, right as the sun was going down. Please don't run in front of me. Thank you. Oh, hi, dear. You guys are gonna go right up that hill, aren't you? Good Lord. Just don't fall, please. One Lane Bridge, my favorite band. I should look that up, see if there actually is a band called the One Lane Bridge. I'm gonna regret bitching about being cold when it's, you know, 105 in Arizona or some damn thing. So the Wyoming BDR film premiered on YouTube today or yesterday. I guess yesterday, probably. I went and screened it at one of the ones in Denver and really enjoyed it. One of the things that I liked that they did in this trip that it didn't seem like they had done in some of the other ones was they had a relatively new off-road rider as part of the group. She was an experienced on-road rider, she just hadn't ridden off-road basically other than at the BMW training center where she's an instructor. And so it was a good way to kind of get the perspective of different skill levels, because a lot of the people that are on the BDR trips now, they've been doing this for 10 years, you know, they're experienced off-road riders, and what's difficult for them, for a novice rider, is really, really difficult or not doable. And so by having a novice off-road rider, who's still a really good rider, go on this trip, you got the perspective of someone who is like, I've never done this kind of stuff before, like I've never really done a water crossing before. I'm nervous because there are a lot of people doing this whose skill levels are in that range and they want to do some of these trips, but they don't know if it's going to be too much, or, you know, they don't have the equivalent experience among the group that's being shown in the video to know what it's going to be like. And so I'm really glad that they did that. I hope they continue to do that, to have a guest rider on who's maybe not an expert off-road rider. I'm only 60 miles from reserve, which ironically I could get there on my reserve. Might pull over and take a break for a minute and then put the drone up. God, yeah, this is just hero dirt. That's all this is. I could be going twice this fast if I was trying to push it. It's just beautiful. I wish Bob would come back out. I've talked about this in other things, but Bob is the big orange ball, or the sun. So I like seeing Bob, especially when it's cold. There's times where it's nice when Bob goes away, but right now I would kind of like to see him make an appearance. Straight through, excuse me, chipmunk. I saw you sticking your head up through the grate. This would be another place to see elk. Though considering the temperature, they might be down lower than this. Wild turkey. That looks like a tom. I can't see it there. Where'd you go? It was there, I promise. It ran down the hill real fast. Here's pavement. Alright, well, I'm gonna kill the cameras for a bit, and then I'll stop and take a break at some point. Quick little blast up the highway, and into the woods. Oh, this is steep. This is like the beginning of Corkscrew Pass. You're just going straight up the hill. Man, I can't see a damn thing. The shadows are so dark. All the way up to 8,300 feet. In a big damn hurry. I know you can't tell on the video, but this is steep. It's just going straight up the hill. A little close. Every once in a while you look down and you're just like, wow, I'm really big on that view. That thing must be really close to me. Hi, elk. Good lord. Hi. Jesus, just drop straight down the hill, why don't you? That was a juvenile, it looked like. No idea if it was a cow or a bull, because it was young, so it was kind of little. Oh, big tree branches. What are you gonna do? God, handled it perfectly. No hesitation. This is stunning back here. It's just beautiful. Three miles. That was called the Saddle Mountain Lookout, which is probably a fire lookout station. A little bit of sand, just to introduce you to Arizona. It is actually quite sandy. Holy crap. Go up here, flip around. Arizona. Not sticking around though, because no reason to. Get through the sand here. That's funny that the moment you go to cross into Arizona, it's sandy as hell right at the border. Bonk. Ooh, big rocks. Oh, there we go. Wow. Welcome to the mountains of New Mexico. There we go. It's got really ate up. You can tell it's had a fair amount of water down it. Oh, there's a viewpoint for you, though. Oh, man. Yeah, there's definitely a few bits of this that would be easier going the other direction. But there's also a fair number of these that would be harder. So, it's always a trade-off. I would say that's similar in difficulty to Hagerman Pass in Colorado, though much shorter. Hagerman is fairly long. And there's a lot of it that's like that. You know, it's nice on this kind of stuff to not be in a rush. Because if you're in a rush, you make mistakes. You start getting flustered when you're not making a good pace. You know, you fall over or something that slows you down even more. And you get even more flustered. And I would say if you're planning for these kinds of trips, take that into account. Like, you don't want to be having to push 200 miles every day. In some areas, that's just not feasible, and it puts an artificial constraint on the ride, which can make it more difficult to complete. Have at least one day of like leeway in your plan, you know, in terms of time off and stuff like that. Like, have at least one day where if you end up not going anywhere, you're still fine. It's gonna happen sometimes, especially on this route. Like, you get caught in a rainstorm, you're not going anywhere, and you have to account for that. You can't sit there and be like, oh, we're off schedule, we've got to rush. I have the advantage of basically not having a schedule. Most people don't have that advantage, and they have to schedule time off for babysitters or whatever. Rock did the full merry-go-round. Ba-dunk, ba-dunk. Boop, boop, ba-doo-doop. Ba-dum, ba-dum. It's just like yesterday. I'm not really planning how far I'm gonna go. I'm just riding at the pace that I want to ride at until I don't want to ride anymore and camp up somewhere. So I think I'll get into Truth or Consequences tomorrow. That looks about right. And I might go for someplace that I can get a shower and recharge stuff. Alright, I think this is the hardball, and I'm going left. And then it's 11 miles to reserve, so I'll turn the cameras off here in a second. Alright. Nobody coming? Oh, hey. How's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Good. You doing the BDR?
Kind of, sorta.
Oh, okay.
I came up and did the CDR this morning, and then hit
Oh, okay.
the CDR where it crosses. It came across.
I did the CDT back in 2020.
Oh, nice. Are you doing the BDR?
Yeah.
I've done it a couple times, and I know where it hits Arizona over there. I was going to keep going into Arizona. I've never gone.
Oh,
over
okay.
There. There's a couple little roads off over in there, and then
Yeah. I was laughing because I went over there. I'm like, as soon as you get near the Arizona border, it got sandy as hell.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
They're great bikes, but they're heavy.
Yeah, they're not a lot of fun. And
Yours dry weighs about as much as mine with all my luggage on it.
What is it? Is it a
T7.
Oh, is it really?
It's the little guy version of that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even recognize that.
Yep.
Huh. How you like it?
With the baggage and stuff, it looks like an Africa Twin.
Yeah, it does kind of. Yeah.
I noticed that when I first did it. I was like, huh. We'll take it easy.
All right, man.
Ride safe.
Check out your YouTube channel.
All right.
Have a great one.
Later, in the void.
Welcome to Reserve. Talks to a CDT hiker. Sounds like the bubble is pretty close to Snow Lake. And yeah, we're gonna go see how things are. 164 miles to Truth or Consequences. Obviously not gonna get there today. That'd be like almost 300 miles for the day. I ain't doing that. But I got water, and we'll see how far we get. Chloride Canyon, 107 miles. Hell, I might get close to the start of Chloride Canyon. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, I'll plan on going for 3 or 4 hours. See where I end up. I'm glad they put a waypoint on here for Chloride Canyon, because that way I at least have some idea when I'll be getting to that. That's generally considered to be the toughest part of this BDR, but I am going the easier direction for it. There's supposed to be like 7 or 8 little creek crossings in there, but with how dry everything is, I wonder if there's going to be any. And then section 2 is supposed to be the last real deep sand. I have to assume this is going to get somewhat technical because they did an easy alternative. 88 miles from Chloride Canyon. Yeah, definitely some trees down in here. Yeah, I don't think those guys did this part because they would have mentioned it. Because coming down this would not be a ton of fun. Especially on heavy bikes. God, these fucking grasshoppers. I'm guessing this is the steep rocky section that the map was talking about. way, but all right. That was ugly, but it worked. Oh, this is a mess. At the point now where I don't want to stop, because getting going again would be even more difficult. I just got to get through it. We're going over here. And I'm going to take a break. Holy crap. I might just be staying in first for a while. At least until I'm sure I'm through it. Bugs. There we go. Okay. I'm sure you can't tell, but this isn't just rocky, it's steep as hell. Which is why I'm in first gear, just chugging along. Big step. Oh, there we go. Up here, take another break. Yeah, if you're doing this route, I would take the easy one. This is a mess. Even coming downhill on this would be really difficult. There's no clear lines. This on the KTM would have sucked, because it can't crawl like this. First gear would be like being in second gear. More rock crawl city. So yeah, this was not marked on the map as an expert section. The other one was marked as easy alt. I think unless this gets in better shape, the other one needs to be the route, and this needs to be an expert alt, because I would not suggest anybody except for dirt bikes or people really wanting the challenge to go this direction on it. This is harder than going up that bit on the Arizona BDR with the steps near the Grand Canyon. Oh, not that rock. Okay. That was almost bad. And this is way longer than that. Alright, I go up over the top right there. Yeah, so this is section 3. You would be coming downhill most of this. Take the alt. Unless you're on like a 500 dirt bike or something like that. Like, take the alt. I nearly crashed probably 3 times. And I'm not out of it yet. There aren't very many good lines on this. And the wind is not helping. That should be the top. And that's the section that is marked on the map handout as steep, rocky. They ain't f***ing kidding, man. If I had to notate that as anything, I would notate it as gross. You could probably get a big bike down that, but you're gonna need to be a way better rider than me to get a bigger bike up that. I'm hoping the descent is a little more chill. Alright, so it looks like I'm about 3 miles from re-intersecting the main quote-unquote easy route. This reminds me of all that stuff outside of Pie Town, where I managed to shake my accessory light loose on the 690. See, and here's your problem, because if you came up this, you're coming up this thinking, this isn't great, but this ain't so bad. And then you get to the other side, and holy show. Don't get me wrong, it's almost always easier going downhill, because your momentum will carry you through some of your mistakes. And you can kind of see what I mean about going downhill. Your momentum can save your mistakes because it's going to carry you through the obstacle whether you want to or not. Going uphill, your momentum's entirely based off of your engine management, which if you lose your momentum, you're screwed. I would say this is about as hard as the bit on the Arizona BDR that they redirected because of the fire washouts. That's what this probably reminds me the most of. Now, I didn't make it up that, but I was also on the KTM and I had already ridden 200 miles of off-road at that point. Something like that. On this bike, I probably would have made it up there to where Gavin was. Also in the dark, so, you know, not as easy. Oh, what is that? Is that fourth gear? Holy crap. It's a Christmas miracle. Oh, hi, Elk. I saw two at least. Is there more, or is it just the two? I only see two. Yep. That wind feels so good right now. I am sweating so hard. Well, it'll make good video if nothing else, but if I had the knowledge of what that was going to be like, I would have taken the alternate. So if you're a better rider than me or running lighter, you know, maybe a lighter bike or something like that, like by all means, go for it. This must be the gravel they were talking about. Yeah, it ain't great, but could be worse. If I stay over here, that's actually a little better. Saw tire marks from a bike there going back and forth. Alright, going right. Okay, so when I hiked out, I went straight. Yeah, so that's the trail right there, going over there. So you walk out and then you go up there. Yeah, 1 mile. And I go up to Snow Lake. The lake is low. Yeah, there's Smikers. How you guys doing? How was the Gila?
Wonderful.
What's that?
Wonderful.
Good. Was there actually water?
Yeah.
Okay. It's everything else is so dry right now.
Yep, water all the way from Doc Campbell's all the way to here.
Yeah. Enjoying having your feet dry for the first time in about a week?
About that, yeah.
I hiked through here last year, so yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing you guys periodically. I saw one guy in Grants already.
Yeah.
Or actually I saw one in Cuba. I was like, damn dude, you're really early.
We're aiming for San Juan's second week of June,
That's about right. The Colorado's still got a fair amount of snow. Like north of Cuba, it's dry. Okay. Like you'll see some snow and water and stuff in the trees, but like everything's pretty much clear. Okay. Last year it was pretty snowy. Yeah. You need anything?
All good, thanks.
Okay.
All good.
I figured you'd be good for water at least, but.
Oh yeah, just picking this up there. So. Yeah, all good. On to Pie Town.
Yep, you'll get, when you come up over Mangus Mountain, you'll get cell phone reception right there, because there's a big AT&T tower right in the middle of town. Oh, nice. And then Davila Ranch is like 13 miles from Pie Town. That's where I am. It's on your right side. Yeah. So there's a sign, but like you can miss it.
You don't want to miss that. Yeah.
No, it's worth it.
Cool. Well, thanks for the advice, and we'll have to get moving.
Take it easy. Stay safe.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Beaverhead Workstation is what I keep seeing signs for, but I don't know what that is. Oh, God. Whatever road engineer tells these people to fix erosion by putting gravel down, you're a dick. Looks like it's the end of the gravel, at least. That's horrible. Like, you could really wreck somebody. That makes it damn near unrideable for a lot of bikes. See, and this looks like it got graded, even if they haven't laid down gravel. Good Lord, what did they do to this road? See, okay, here's the ungraded road. Yeah, this is in better shape. There's still bits, obviously, but at least everything surrounding the rocks isn't loose. 58 to the start of chloride. Oh, you know what's funny? That waypoint is probably for the start of Chloride Canyon. So by the time I get to it, I'll actually be through Chloride Canyon. The other thing I gotta see is between Truth and Consequence. So Rudigio, how you say it, had a really big forest fire several weeks ago at this point, and I think it has reopened since then, so I don't have to divert around it, but I'm gonna make sure first. Wide open spaces. Yeah, into Chloride Canyon tomorrow, into Truth or Consequences tomorrow. Oh, pavement. Hello. Oof, oof, oof. I just made the turn onto the Chloride Canyon route. Haven't been able to find a damn spot that I could really use as a campsite up until this. It was ridiculous. There was a ton of little pullouts and stuff, but I mean, I basically would have been camping on the road. And I'm not a huge fan of this. Alright, I'm gonna keep going for a little bit. But I'm gonna get up here a little ways. As soon as I find a decent spot, it doesn't gotta be great, I'll take it. Oh, here we go. Where does it connect out at? Up here, okay. Yep, we're doing this. Oh, face out. Oh god, don't fall over. Okay. Arrive. Of course it's windy.